Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel. Thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the way the media, the mainstream media, represents, or should I say misrepresents, the many protests about the lockdowns and protests that refute the globalist allegations that there's a health emergency afoot. So just combining those things now, there's a lot of very well attended protests, as in the multiple thousands of people turning up, and this is real grassroots. There's no professional agitators or big money organising them or anything like that. And there's nothing like the funding that BLM and Antifia get, where trucks arrive delivering all sorts of logistics and protest material, banners to wave and all that sort of thing. So this is real grassroots. So you'd think a media organisation would take interest in it, but the entire mainstream media ignores, not just in Australia but elsewhere, ignores these protests and pretend they didn't happen. If they do make mention of it, they tend to infer that hardly anybody turned up. And that those who did turn up were mostly Nazis. Now, there's a few sort of rumours floating around, or I've received information that suggests that paid actors are going along to any of these protests, complete with their the Nazi flag they've just been handed from the globalist funded NGO or something like that, and so they turn up, unfurl the Nazi flag, and hey presto, the entire mainstream media is right on the spot. Amongst thousands of people, they somehow managed to find these half dozen people who proudly hold up the Nazi flag. It's photographed, and the media have done their job, and they'll go home and go, see, Nazis, we told you. And of course, it's just actors being paid to do that. It's a complete false flag and deliberate play on words intended. So this is something that's going on, all across the international mainstream, and it's tightly coordinated. So we know it's a globalist play. We know it's straight out of the globalist playbook, that no matter how many protests there are against it, it's either not covered or misrepresented as a Nazi rally. And if you look at politicians and the mainstream media, they come out with the most the most incredible allegations that people that don't want to get vaccinated are oppressing the others and this sort of thing. It's quite absurd, but this is the way they're playing it, and they're keeping the pressure up and the goalposts. Here in New South Wales, in Australia, the government says, well, 70% will open up, then it's 75, then it's 80, then it's 85, then it's 90, and now it's 95%. Before the economy is going to open up, and it's insane. I don't know why anyone believes what the politicians are saying anymore. The chief health officers and the entire body politic and the mainstream media do nothing but tell lies, lie after lie after lie. And again, if it was such a dangerous health emergency, they wouldn't need to tell any lies. The facts, the reality would speak for itself. But because they have to rely so heavily, if not absolutely, on lying, then that pretty much tells you, how much of an emergency it really is, a health emergency it really is, if they need that many lies and that many people to tell lies. And they're prepared to corrupt everything. Not only politicians tell lies, but they're prepared to corrupt all science and medicine and all previously professions where you could rely on for completely impartial and independent opinion. That's all gone now. These people are nothing more than political hacks and propagandists, and have been drawn into the entire propaganda effort, which again is globalist conceived, globalist promoted, globalist funded, and globalist pushed, and globalist demanded. And of course, our politicians, who are completely owned by the globalists, they have to go along with it. But I didn't realise till I sat down and started counting all the large-scale protests, that is multiple thousands of people going on, not just in Australia but elsewhere, and then looking for that coverage on the mainstream media, And gee whiz, you've got to dig deep to find anything. As I said earlier, what they do talk about is outrageous misrepresentation. Paid actors to walk around with Nazi flags, this sort of thing. It's insane. It's insane, the sort of world we live in. But looking at the news site, I've got a news site open here, and out of the top 20 stories, looking at 8 are to do with the alleged health emergency. 1, 2, 9 are to do with global, climate change and global warming, that sort of stuff. And you'd expect a bit of an uptick from that because of the Glasgow thing going on at the moment. Then the rest is stories about how mass migration and how these people are only poor people trying to escape from all sorts of terrible things, and they must and should. It's the only good moral thing to do, to allow these illegal people to just waltz in and then be given all this free stuff. They look remarkably well fed and well dressed for people who are supposed to be on the bones of their ass. I wonder where that comes. I mean, some of the brand label clothes that they've got there, and they seem to be doing rather well. And where are all these trucks that deliver them? And if you start reading the story, you find that the place they came from was 200 kilometres away. They didn't walk that. So these thousands of people being put in trucks and driven over to a border or to a collection point. They've all got food and water. Where did that come from? Who's paying for all that? So the stories that you see in the media don't cover. They just focus on the so-called moral duty of the evil White West. Anyway, that's my take on that. You've been with Tassus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.